Ryan here from IT Supplies. Today I'm going to show you how to print from Adobe Lightroom. A lot of people have asked the question on how to properly do it, as it's a little different than Photoshop and other imaging editing software. So first thing we're going to do is open the application. I'm using version 3 on Mac OS X, Snow Leopard. I haven't tried it on Lion, but it should be the exact same as the application hasn't changed. So you can see here I'm in my library of photos here. What I'm going to want to do is first select an image of what I want to print. I'll just choose this one. And we've got our library develop slideshow print and web options. I'm going to print on this one, so I'm going to select that option. It's going to change the screen a little bit, but overall it's basically the same throughout Adobe Lightroom. The first thing I'm going to want to do is go to my page setup, format for, I'm going to be printing on an Epson Stylus Pro 7900. I'm going to select that. And we've got our paper sizes here, custom with all these already programmed into the software or our printer driver, but I'm going to choose an 8.5 by 11 by just typing it in a custom size and just choosing that. It seems to work better with the printer. I've noticed in the past if just selecting a pre-made option, I'll get an error on the printer or it will get cut off. Something just doesn't work right. So I like to do a custom size. We're going to next go on to our print settings options. Once again, printer 7900. We're going to go into our color matching option. You can see here that the color sync and Epson color controls are grayed out. In Mac software, if they're grayed out, that means it's deactivated, it's not going to work, and you can't change it. So that is what I do want, because next setting I'm going to go down to my printer settings. I'm printing on a roll. The type is a photo luster paper, so here's glossy, luster, semi-gloss. I'm going to choose my luster. And then what you want to make sure you have is color mode selected to off, no color management. I don't want the printer choosing its own colors for what it thinks, right? I'm going to want it to print exactly for that type of paper, my luster. So select off, and then later in the dialog box we're going to change the ICC profile to the correct one. I'm going to save that. Lightroom's got some pretty cool features. What I'm going to be doing today is printing a single image on one sheet of paper, but it's got some cool options. You can choose the picture package, which you basically can put 2 or 3 pictures into your sheet of paper. This here will then let me resize them for how I want, and it will print them all on one sheet. But I don't want to do that today. It's a nice feature if you're just doing like a layout software, almost as InDesign, but you can do it in Lightroom with a photograph. So I'm going to choose just single image. In image settings here we have zoom to fill. That's going to create your borderless looking image, but I'll just keep it as it is, proportional. Rotate to fit, they'll automatically rotate your image if it's a portrait or landscape size. Here we've got our layout, our margins, left and right margins, top, bottom, and you can see here by default it gave me a little bottom margin. I'm going to turn that to off. I don't want any margins. And page grid, since I have 4 photos selected here on the bottom, this is the same as printing a picture package, just 4 on one page. I do not want that. I'm going to select one image and change my page grid to 1, 1. Cell size, this changes the size of the cells. Just keep it 8.5 by 11. Guides, this is just an internal use in Lightroom while you're setting up your page. I can turn to my rulers, page bleeds, margins, and gutters. You can just see them on and off. Next here is the page options. Page background, that's if I don't have a full bleed, I can change the outer box. Identity plate, this is basically your watermark for the image. You can create custom ones so it always remembers. Here is also watermark option. In Lightroom you can create default watermarks if you're uploading to web, but as you can see on the left bottom, it will show up. Same option, but for printing you most likely want an identity plate, as you can easily change it however you want it. Page options. Here on the bottom you can put your crop marks, page info, page numbers if you need those when printing. Now I put a margin on the bottom of my page, so I'm going to go back up and change that to 0. Photo info, it'll write that on the page, and the font size is just for all that information. So finally we're here at our print job setting. Print to printer, that is what we're going to want to do. We're going to have an actual output. It has the JPEG option. You'd want to use this most likely if you just wanted a JPEG with your file information on the page, or if you put crop marks. That way it'll easily show it. If you were sending it to somebody else that was going to print it, they might need to know that information. So we've got here draft mode printing. Turn that option off. I want to print a high quality image, so I don't want it on draft. Draft would be if you just want to quickly see how it laid on the page. That would be your best bet. Print resolution. Lightroom has the option to automatically resize your picture while it prints. So if I had a 300 dpi image and only wanted it at 180, it will automatically change. This will just be for minor quality issues when printing. 180 typically looks the same as 300, but it's up to you on your image. So I'm just going to print this at 180. It'll also print faster. Print sharpening, this will automatically apply a sharpen filter to your photo. Basically eliminates a Photoshop edit step. 16-bit output, if you're printing a 16-bit options, you can print there, otherwise it's printing in 8-bit. And finally here's our color management option. We have our Epson Stylus 7900 profile. I selected this before, that's why it's in here, but normally it would just be managed by printer. I do not want my printer to choose what colors. I want it to know, hey, I'm printing on my luster paper, this is how color should work with it. So if you click other, it brings up all your options, and right here you can see in our left column I can't read what they are. So I'm going to open this up all the way, so now I can see a description for all my printers and what they are. I'm going to go down to my 7900. I'm printing on a chrome luster paper, which I've already created a profile with internally, but otherwise I would just choose premium luster photo paper. But since I have a custom one already made and installed, I'm going to select that. So now you're all set to click print. If I do that, it should bring up my print settings one more time. You can review over, but we already changed all the settings earlier, so it should be correct. And finally, you're ready to print. Since this is just a demo, I'm not going to go ahead and print it, but it should automatically start outputting once you click print.